Number one, this is a big one, unit objectives. When you came to a job, wouldn't you like if you stepped on a job for somebody to give you crystal clear expectations of what's expected of you on this job, what we're going to evaluate you on this job? Old school is, well, that's a rigor. They just got to figure it out. And if they can't figure it out, they don't need to be in college. Whoa. With that attitude, we don't need to be teaching in a community college either. Course objectives are the crystal clear expectations given before we ever start lecture. Here's your list of exactly what you got to know for the test. Be able to discuss this, be able to explain this, be able to do this. Exact list. Now, we had some people, they wanted to fight the study guide thing. I give a study guide. Why do I have to rewrite those in objectives? I said, when do you give those study guides? Every person that mentioned study guides gave them within days of the test. I said, unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, we're training students to not show up prepared for class, to wait to the end and cram for shallow learning, and then we wonder why they don't carry the material over to the next session. So this is absolutely the first step to the educational process, and when we skip it, we've undermined the process from the get-go. Does SACS require these? Absolutely not. They require a bunch of other stuff, GEO, PLOs, SLOs, course objectives, but not unit objectives. And that's the only thing the student wants to know. What do I need to know for the first test? Every course now has those objectives. Wonderful thing. You go to a tutor or a counselor, it don't matter what course it's in. Hey, I'm having a problem in Biology 103. The first question they're going to ask you, do you look up the objectives before you go to lecture? I hadn't been. That's what you got to do. I really can't help you until you do that. And if they say yes to that, the next question they're going to get, are you watching those videos that go with those lectures? Because every top 10 enrollment course has a complete set of instructor-made lecture videos. So they know exactly what to ask them. Number two, writing assignments. This was an important one because faculty voted this the number one problem on our campus 7 years ago. Students voted math, so we ended up going math QEP. So we didn't go to writing. We now have a writing center to address that. But when we started the initiative, we had all the division directors in the room. We said, we voted this was the number one problem on campus. Can you tell me what you're doing in your division to address this? Dead silence. And then they all looked at the English director. I don't know, what are you doing? So we got to, how quickly this was solved? 60 seconds. We said we have 60 seconds to come up with a standard for writing assignments. I vote on 15, one a week. That got the conversation started. Whoa, no. So then it got down to 3. Every course on campus you had to do 3. We don't care what they write about. That's your business. You don't even have to grade it for grammar. We know for a fact the more they write, the better they get. Walked through the math department right after this. You can imagine how this went over with math folks. And I looked in the classroom. These students were doing something. They were engaged, which was unusual for math at that time. They were engaged. The instructor walked outside the door. I said, what's your student doing? They look awful engaged in there. He said, they're doing that he didn't use daggone, that daggone writing assignment you have us doing. He said, I don't know what this has to do with teaching math. I said, I don't know what it has to do with teaching math either, but I know it has everything to do with teaching students. He came by my office 4 months later, apologizing for that statement. Said he learned more about his students in 1 semester than he had in 22 years of teaching. If that's not a testimony to writing assignments, I don't know what is, because if they write in your class, there's some things they put that you wish you didn't know. You may need to know, but you wish you didn't. But I tell you what, it helps us know our students. Grading scale was another one. We have to have some standardization. We just can't have everybody all over the board. It'll turn into a roulette wheel at registration. We looked at 3 syllabus, 3 different grading scales for one course, same course, 3 different instructors. The one thing they had in common, they all had 5 major test grades. So we said, I tell you what, let's plug in the exact same test grade for all 3 instructors. And do you know, depending on which instructor you had, you could have made a B, a C, or a D with the exact same amount of knowledge. And we have the audacity to say things like, you just want us to lower the standards? We don't even know what the standards are. I'm just being honest. We're just shooting you straight today. So we had to standardize. The data was screaming, you've got a standardized grading scale. And the length of lecture. Remember we said maximum engagement? That means minimum lecture. Well, we have to quantify that. What do you mean by minimum? If I'm doing 75-minute lectures and I go to 60 minutes, to me, I made it more engaging. No more than 15 minutes before you do. And I understand some lectures are engaging. We challenge our faculty to do an entire lecture with nothing but questions. And what you find out is you can work them through the entire lecture and you're just answering questions. It will transform the way you teach, I can promise you that.